we finally get to pick up with Leonardo. What is up, YouTube and acolytes? You guys know who I am. I am the Theblazingdeity. I host the channel where the hottest gaming and comic content is like religion, and welcome back to our 2024 review of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And like I said, we're picking up with Leonardo. Leonardo has always been known as the leader of the turtle, the one with the most responsibility on his shoulders, and we can just tell right from the start of this issue, he is struggling with his own identity. Leonardo, unfortunately, is on this path of redemption after the betrayal of his brothers for the Foot Clan, searching for this internal revelation after his actions led to the unfortunate death of Master Splinter. That's if I can recall this correctly, because I finally realized that this 2024 issue series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is actually coming off of the shell end or the back end of the 150 issues of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles before it, which really finalizes why the team is separated, why they are broken up. And within the last couple chapters, or within the last couple issues of that 150 issue series, Leonardo's actions were very similar to Robin, right? From Teen Titans. His perspective betrayal against his family is kind of similar to how Robin turned to Red Hood or gained the Red Hood persona to appease Slade Wilson during those couple episodes. It also kind of is like a Winter Soldier-esque vibe, because even though his quote-unquote foot mentality or persona was suppressed, it is very prevalent and present during very pressuring times. But we'll get to that later. We'll make a whole separate video about that if necessary. But in this, trip of self-discovery, he finds himself in India and hopes to find some sort of internal answer, and comes upon a large bale or group of soft-shell turtles. And in my opinion, it's very important that the turtles that he runs into are soft shell, not just because of the location, but the depth that adds to this story. And I'll get into detail later in the video. But Leonardo approaches this bale of turtles, or this group of turtles, really beseeching them, really asking them as a sort of kin what he should do with himself, even going as far as like bowing and prostrating himself before them, and they don't acknowledge him at all for like days at a time. And finally, after he like reaches out for one of the turtles, it bites him. It acknowledges him through a bite. And in my mind, personally, I feel like that turtle biting Leonardo is probably like leading Leonardo to believe that he needs to make some sort of like self-sacrifice, or he has to like go through some sort of discipline or suffer, and then the answer will eventually come to him. So what happens is Leo ends up abandoning his sword for a little bit and starts to meditate. Whether it's raining, whether there's heat outside, whether it's night, he meditates. And eventually some poachers come to try and harvest these soft-shelled turtles, and they of course are stopped by Leonardo, where he really starts to understand his place. When he first desired acknowledgement and salvation, he starts to realize and understand that he himself is the tool to attain both. To look for the salvation he wants so desperately, or this understanding or an acknowledgement of himself, he needs to start with acknowledging himself. He needs to start with saving himself. And here's why I think like the soft-shell turtles being here within this story is so vastly important. Because the soft-shell turtle, specifically the Shitar indica, I think that's what it's called, and that's how it's pronounced. They are an endangered species from what my research before like doing this video showed me. Their lack of defense and their unique bodies make them easy marks for like predators and poachers, and a lot of people sell them for medicinal needs, kind of like what was talked about within this book. But it's kind of a parallel to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themselves. They're very unique creatures, and they're constantly hunted by not just the Foot Clan, but by other researchers like Baxter Stockman and other groups throughout their conception, just because of how unique they are, but also they lack numbers, just like the endangered species that we're talking about here. But that's not where the importance comes in, but the parallel is in what they represent spiritually, specifically for Leonardo, in my opinion. It's real. These turtles, or soft shell turtles in general, are usually likened to staying true to one's path. It's also likened to having strength of character or wisdom, and even sometimes patience and stability, which is not only what the turtle's brother that we're talking about is currently seeking, but also what he has been known for in the long-term conception of his character, which I think is so dope. I love that parallel, or I don't know if like anybody else picked up on that, but that's something that like I saw and was like, yo, there's depth to this. There's crazy, symbolism in Leonardo's book. But there's definitely plenty of action because he's eventually set upon by the Foot Clan, right? The Foot Clan eventually finds Leonardo and they set in upon him, and it forces him to defend himself, and eventually start to try and unite or reunite with his brothers, leaving the beaten and battered Foot Clan to the mercy of the turtles on the beach. And these turtles look to eat the unconscious members of the Foot Clan. And I feel like that really solidifies the symbolism, almost a turning of the tide scenario as far as the turtles and the Foot Clan themselves are tied, whereas the turtles, in my opinion, may eventually start to take the fight to the Foot Clan instead of the Foot Clan to the turtles. I love this issue so much. It's not super long, but it's packed with so much symbolism, and I love every bit of it. It is definitely a 9 out of 10, and I cannot wait to give you guys a review or summary of issue number 4, where we pick up in that next book with Donatello. And from what I can tell, it's going to be really, really dark. A mutant fighting ring and much more to uncover. But Acolytes, if you guys enjoyed this issue, please let me know in the comments. Did you enjoy it? Are there more stories, or are there more things you want me to review or summarize? Also, if you want to keep up with this series, there is a link in the playlist for your convenience, but I would definitely make sure to get you guys with another video real soon.